Hi everyone, it's Rob Watson, the module leader for TECH1002, Social Media Innovation, and this is the overview summary of the 21st lecture. It's a bit cold today, hence having a couple of extra layers on. What we're going to talk about this week is the idea of academic evidence. So we've covered what critical thinking is and how that is part of. I'm going to raise this chair up a little bit more. There we go, that's better. So what the academic process is in terms of the kind of thinking, the thinking tools that we use when we're looking at problems, and we're looking to anticipate, if you like, moving beyond just simply problem solving, as important as problem solving is, but to how do we position ourselves so that we are able to pose problems, so we're problem posing, because every time we deal with an issue, every time we think we understand something, it raises a whole set of other problems. And the academic process is really a kind of an ongoing process of inquiry that says that there are always problems which need to be resolved and dealt with. So how do we do that? So we're using reports as a mechanism for offering and sharing and engaging with discussion and ideas about problem development approaches. And part of this is reliant on the kind of evidence that we gather. And there are particular ways that academic input to a problem rely on verifiable forms of academic evidence. So we're moving away from thinking about issues and problems in terms of our personalised experience, though that can be relevant and important. We're moving away from thinking about, if you like, the received, this common stock of ideas that we have, though they can be relevant and important. And we're thinking about in which way we can formulate a set of new questions based on the evidence that we've gathered in an objective, verifiable and testable kind of way. So what we'll do is we'll look through some of these issues in terms of why they're relevant to the academic process and what this enables us to do more broadly in terms of the outcomes of our way of thinking. And this is something which will take you through right the way through your learning, right the way through to when you graduate, and if you want to take up any postgraduate study, or if you're working in an environment that you are testing new ideas and you're integrating new technologies and new techniques and new media platforms, then being able to frame questions and to provide evidence is going to be essential for that in the future. At the moment, we live in the if you like, the moral outrage of the moment is fake news. And one of the challenges that we are often subject to is the idea that truth or facts are relative, and we get people saying that, well, that's just fake news, and kind of what we offer as news is genuine news. And is there a way of independently assessing this? Now, ultimately, no, there isn't. There isn't a way of independently assessing things other than to look at how things operate and work in practice, and to look at what difference it makes. But also there is a process of verification, which is to question the process of identifying the evidence. And then you look at the investigation process, and you open that process up for other people to be able to see and to be able to engage with the steps that you've taken in terms of putting your argument together. So it's not a process which is hidden away, and it's not a process which we take for granted. It's not what's called a black box, where it's kind of a self-contained set of ideas which we can't challenge. Where authority, received wisdom, this is the way we've always done it, this is just how it works, all of those kind of situations beg the question, why does it work like that? Who says it should work like that? So we need academic evidence gathering techniques in order to be able to be certain that what we're challenging about our received wisdom is on sound ground. And it might be that we only provide a temporary move forward until somebody else asks those same questions and says, hang on a minute, why are we saying that this works like this? Look at this evidence that we've gathered from elsewhere. It doesn't fit the existing model or picture. Then we can keep moving forward and keep moving forward. So this kind of whole discussion, if you like, is we want to engage with the world around us in an empirical sense. So that is in an observable and measurable sense. So something which we can demonstrate is found in practice. So it's not just a theoretical discussion, if you like. So we're not just taking the views of experts. We're not just, and there's some questionable, experts have played a questionable role in many parts of our social lives. If you look at the way that the tobacco industry, for example, used experts as a way to mask and to hide the impact of smoking and the way that cigarettes cause cancer, then expert advice needs to be open and transparent. And the evidence that experts gather, there is a social responsibility to make that ethical, transparent, and open for discussion and verification. And if you're not prepared to do that as an academic or as a researcher in any other field, then don't expect public support for what it is you're trying to achieve, because that public debate and scrutiny is an essential component of how we collect evidence. So what we're going to do in this lecture is look at what the steps are that we need to take in order to be able to ensure that that process works and it functions, because there are fairly standard approaches that academics take, either in a form of, if you like, quantitative, so where you measure and you like quantify data and analysis, or if it's qualitative, where you describe and you evaluate social situations, example like relationships between people, and the process, social processes, the kind of things that we've looked at in this module, then these are still verifiable and open processes, and that the evidence that we provide in these processes is something that we're prepared to share as part of a conversation and discussion. So the whole reason that we format reports in a particular way and we use citation management and we demonstrate where our evidence comes from is because what we're engaging with is socially important, it's practical, it's relevant, and we want to acquire the skills of doing that in a way which is at a high standard and is internationally recognised at a high standard as well. So we'll look at a range of issues to do with experimentation, to do with what the scientific method is. Are we aiming for truth, or is it good enough just to be plausible? Is a good question to ask. And what does that mean? So what kind of evidence gathering techniques do we want our reports to be able to demonstrate that we've engaged with at some point? So a lot of issues to cover in this lecture. Hopefully we'll go through it in a generally entertaining way. The notes are available on the DMU Commons wiki. Just go to wiki.our.dmu.ac.uk and look for the TECH1002 section, and it's in the lecture notes section. If you want to carry on the conversation, share any examples, head over to talk.our.dmu.ac.uk and start a new topic or join in one of the existing topics that's already available. But we'll see you at the lecture.